Congratulations! You are among a small group of households receiving a housing voucher from the Housing Authority of the County of San Mateo. Three-way partnership. Your participation in a housing voucher program results in a partnership with the Housing Authority and the owner or landlord. The tenant's partnership with the Housing Authority is the housing voucher. The tenant's partnership with the landlord or owner is through the lease agreement, and the owner's partnership with the Housing Authority is with the Housing Assistance Payments Contract. With these partnerships at a minimum, the Housing Authority is responsible to pay the landlord and calculate the rent portions. You are responsible to maintain a good tenancy and pay your portion of rent on time. The owner or landlord is responsible to maintain the rental unit in good condition and enforce the lease. Your obligations and rights as a voucher holder. As a voucher holder, you have the same responsibilities and obligations as a private tenant, including, but not limited to, paying your portion of rent on time, maintaining the unit in good condition, being a good neighbor. You have the same rights as a private tenant. For example, expectation of timely response from the owner for repairs to the unit, and 24-hour prior notice by the owner or landlord before entering your unit to make certain repairs. The housing voucher. Issue date or start date of the voucher is the day you sign the voucher. The housing voucher is valid for a term of 180 calendar days. You must submit a request for tenancy approval, RTA, within the 180-day term of the voucher. Extensions beyond 180 days will only be considered for extenuating circumstances, reasonable accommodations, and, more importantly, continued voucher availability. You will find your voucher issue and expiration dates in Box 3 and 4 on the voucher. Voucher size. Your family's voucher size is based on two criteria. Number 1, the head of household and spouse or partner is allocated one bedroom. Number 2, all remaining household members are allocated one bedroom for every 2 family members, regardless of gender, age, or relationship. You can select a different size unit than the bedroom size listed on your voucher, but keep in mind that this will affect the housing assistance paid by the Housing Authority. You will find your issued voucher size in Box 1A and one smaller size in Box 1B. Maximum housing assistance on the voucher. The housing assistance, or subsidy, is the maximum amount that the Housing Authority will pay the owner on your behalf. The subsidy is determined using our subsidy table. Our subsidy table is based on your household's annual adjusted income and voucher size. There are 2 subsidy amounts listed on your voucher. In Box 2A, the maximum housing assistance amount listed is based on your household's eligible voucher size. And in Box 2B, the maximum housing assistance amount listed is if you choose a unit that is one bedroom size smaller than your household's eligible voucher size. Calculating your rent portion. All households are required to pay at least $100 minimum rent each month. For example, if the maximum housing assistance based on your voucher size is $2,200 and your contract rent is $2,000, your portion of the payment would be $100 as the minimum tenant rent, and the Housing Authority subsidy would be $1,900. Let's see another example. If the maximum housing assistance based on your voucher size is still $2,200, However, your contract rent is $2,500. Your portion of the payment would be $300. And the Housing Authority subsidy would be $2,200, which is the maximum subsidy based on your voucher size. Calculating your rent portion based on mixed families. If your household consists of members who are citizens or have eligible immigration status, and additional members who do not have eligible immigration status, you are considered a mixed family. Housing assistance payments to the landlord for mixed families will be prorated based on the number of eligible household members. Keeping your assistance. Family obligations. When signing your voucher, you are agreeing to uphold your family and household obligations, such as agreeing to notify the Housing Authority in writing of household changes within 10 business days of the change, providing all required forms and documentation requested by the Housing Authority, allowing the Housing Authority to inspect your unit at reasonable times after reasonable notice, ensuring that any information you supply is true and complete. Other family obligations. Some actions can result in the termination of your housing assistance, such as subletting the unit to someone else, being evicted, receiving housing assistance for one unit but living somewhere else, receiving assistance for 2 housing authorities at the same time, committing any drug-related or violent criminal activity, threatening, abusing, or exhibiting any violence towards housing authority personnel. Refer to your voucher for a full list of your family obligations. A violation of any of the family obligations can result in the termination of your housing assistance. More responsibilities to consider. Your responsibilities as a tenant. Take good care of the unit in which you reside. Do not damage the unit or premises beyond normal wear and tear. Do not commit any serious or repeated violations of the lease. For example, non-payment of rent is considered a serious violation of the lease. Pay the utility bills for which you're responsible. Maintain any appliances that the owner is not required to provide under the lease. Reporting household changes. You must obtain the Housing Authority written approval to add family members as occupants of the unit. The Housing Authority's guest policy states a guest can remain in the assisted unit no longer than 14 consecutive days, or a total of 60 cumulative calendar days during any 12-month period. It's important to remember that you are responsible for your guests and their behavior. Promptly notify the Housing Authority and the owner in writing if a family member no longer lives in the unit, before moving out of the unit or terminating the lease, and when a family member is away from the unit for an extended period of time. If your entire household is absent from the unit for a period of more than 90 consecutive calendar days, regardless of reasons, the Housing Authority will terminate your assistance. Reporting income changes. All household income changes that are expected to last 30 days or longer must be reported to the Housing Authority in writing, along with supporting verification. The Housing Authority will calculate the reported changes after proper documentation regarding the change has been received to determine if your subsidy will need to be adjusted. Household income includes, but is not limited to, child support, spousal support or alimony, disability benefits, employment income or wages, self-employment, family support, retirement income or pension, Social Security or SSI benefits, TANF general assistance or CAPI, unemployment benefits, veterans benefits. To report changes to your household composition or household income, please use one of the following processes. Send an email to your housing specialist or interims at smchousing.org. Go to the Department of Housing website at www.smchousing.org. Along the top of the screen, click on Current Program Participants, and then Income Changes and the link to the interims at smchousing.org email to report an income change. Choosing where to lease. You may choose to rent a unit in San Mateo County. San Mateo County includes Daly City to East Palo Alto and Pescadero to Pacifica. If you decided to rent a unit outside of San Mateo County, contact your housing specialist. Starting July 2024, the following California laws were effective. 1. Landlords cannot refuse to rent to tenants simply because they have a Section 8 voucher. While landlords may screen all tenants for many eligibility factors, they cannot advertise no Section 8 or refuse to rent to you based on your source of income. 2. It is unlawful for landlords to use a financial or income standard in assessing eligibility for the housing rental that is not based on the portion of rent to be paid by the tenant. Landlords cannot use a person's credit history as part of the application process without offering the applicant the opportunity to provide alternative evidence of their ability to pay. 3. Most housing providers can only collect a security deposit of 1 month's rent, in addition to any rent for the first month that is paid on or before initial occupancy. Please refer to the flyer provided on California rental laws for more information. Recommendations for finding a unit. Search for rental listings everywhere. Search every day. Set aside 30 to 60 minutes a day. Don't stop searching until you find a suitable unit. Don't get discouraged, and don't give up. Resources available. There are several online resources available that you can use, such as affordablehousing.com, apartments.com, craigslist.org, move.com, zillow.com, hotpads.com, trulia.com. Other resources include real estate agents that advertise rental units, for rent signs when driving or taking the bus, word of mouth. Tell everyone you are looking for a unit. Note: talk to your current landlord if applicable. You could remain in your current unit if it is located in San Mateo County and meets the housing standards. General tips for meeting a new landlord. Make a good impression. Dress nice. Wear clean clothes. Smile, be courteous and pleasant. If able, ask a family member or friend to watch your children so that you can pay attention to the questions and information that the landlord is sharing with you. Turn off your cell phone while meeting with the landlord. Use appropriate language. Never curse in front of the landlord. If offered an in-person viewing of unit, arrive 5 to 10 minutes early. Things not to do. Don't use swear words. Don't bring friends with you. Don't interrupt the landlord. Don't talk on your cell phone when the landlord is talking to you. Don't talk about any negative history. And don't be late. Remember, you only get one chance to make a good first impression. Things that landlords generally look for in a tenant: rental history, credit history, Will you be courteous to your neighbors? Will you disturb the people who live around you? Will you keep their apartment in good condition? Do people consider you trustworthy and responsible? Will you pay your rent on time each month? Submitting a request for tenancy approval, RTA. To schedule an initial inspection for a unit you find, the Housing Authority requires you to submit a request for tenancy approval, RTA. All sections of the RTA must be completed and signed by both the landlord and tenant. Incomplete RTAs may be rejected and returned. Please note, you can only submit one RTA at a time. You can submit the RTA paperwork to the Housing Authority office through one of the following methods. Email the paperwork to leasingteam@smchousing.org. Deliver the paperwork to the drop box outside our office at 264 Harbor Boulevard, Building A in Belmont. Mail the paperwork to the Housing Authority of the County of San Mateo, 264 Harbor Boulevard, Building A, Belmont, California, 94002. Fax the paperwork to 650-802-3372. Upon receipt of your RTA paperwork, the leasing team will schedule an inspection as soon as possible. The Housing Authority of the County of San Mateo offers 3 landlord incentives. The Landlord Continuity Bonus is offered to landlords who have one of our program participants move out of a unit and rent to another participant from HACSM's voucher programs within 60 days. By doing so, the landlord can potentially receive up to 1 additional month contract rent payment. The new Landlord $1,000 bonus is our way of saying thank you for partnering with the Housing Authority, and it's available to landlords who have not participated in any of the San Mateo County subsidized housing programs for at least 3 years. The Landlord No-Loss Bonus is a daily proration of the full agreed-upon contract rent from the day the Housing Authority receives the request for tenancy approval to the start date of the Housing Assistance Payments Contract, up to 1 month's contract rent. Bonus payments will be processed once the Housing Authority receives the signed 12-month lease and the Housing Assistance Payments Contract. Landlords may qualify for more than 1 bonus. To learn more about these incentives, refer to the department website at www.smchousing.org or email questions to leasingteam@smchousing.org. Factors to consider while submitting the RTA. The first factor to consider is affordability. The Housing Authority will review your rent portion and determine if it is affordable for your household. Generally, the Housing Authority will compare your proposed rent portion to your monthly income. If your rent portion will be more than 50% of your monthly income, the Housing Authority will likely deny the RTA as not affordable for your household. The second factor is rent reasonableness. If the rent being asked by the owner is higher than comparable unassisted units in their property, or the rent charged for comparable units in the private unassisted market, it would not be considered reasonable. If the rent is not determined reasonable, the Housing Authority cannot approve it. Inspecting the unit. Unless you already live in the unit, do not move into the unit until it has passed inspection and has been approved by the Housing Authority. All utility services must be on at the time of inspection. If they are not on, the unit will not pass inspection, and you will not be able to move in. The unit must be move-in ready. The Housing Authority will contact the owner and tenant to schedule an inspection for the unit. Owner's rights to information about you. Owners may request in writing that the housing authority provide certain information about you. When available, the housing authority will provide the following information to owners, if requested: the past 2 addresses where you lived, and the name and address of the owners. Eviction history. Damage to the unit that is documented in your file. Other aspects of tenancy that is a matter of public record. Drug trafficking by family members. Helpful tips and resources. If you have further questions, please feel free to contact your housing specialist by phone or email directly. Thank you.